Well, there we have it, the BAFTA Film Nominations 2015. Welcome to our little chatette we're going to have. Thank you very much to Stephen and Sam for reading the nominations so beautifully there. To discuss the nominations and who's been snubbed and who hasn't and who will win big. From Radio 1, our film critic, we have Rhianna Dhillon. Morning, Rhianna.
Morning.
From Heat TV, and he is the reviews editor of Heat as well. Boyd Hilton.
Hello.
Morning, Boyd. And the longest title, MTV's International Movies editor, just one of his many jobs, Matt Risley. Morning, guys. We've had some heated debate already about the nominations this morning. Initial reactions, Boyd,
well,
are you pleased? Are you shocked?
I think it's really interesting. It's a big spread, but I think the fact that Grand Budapest Hotel has got the most nominations, 11, it's pretty incredible. It came out almost a year ago, February last year, and for a film to sustain interest and excitement for that long, it's pretty incredible these days, because all the awards-worthy films generally come out between about November and now. So it's pretty incredible, and to get the highest number of nominations, I think that's a bit of a surprise, I have to say. But I loved it, so I'm pleased.
Yeah, you're a big fan, aren't you? And Wes has been nominated quite a few times. He never has.
Yeah, but
he's never had a win.
Never had a win, and to get this number of nominations is pretty incredible. And Ray Fiennes to be nominated for Best Actor, I think, is a bit of a surprise, maybe.
Well, in a role, but he's quite. He's quite. Yeah. Comic in this
it's
role.
Great,
and he doesn't get to do light.
Absolutely,
often,
but often, you know, awards nominations are for big, serious, you know, kind of worthy stuff. And Grand Budapest Hotel is a huge amount of fun, so it's kind of exciting, really, I think.
Fantastic. Rhianna, which films are you really glad to see in Best Film category there?
Birdman, absolutely. That was the one. I was just like, thank goodness that's there. I was slightly disappointed that Whiplash wasn't there because I am a huge fan. We talked about this a lot this morning. Yeah, big fan of Whiplash, so I'm glad to see that it has got some nominations, including Best Director for Damien Chazelle. I was quite surprised that Mr. Turner hasn't got more, because you come out of that film and you think, well, that's got to win a BAFTA, that's got to.
For Timothy Spall not to be nominated at all, I mean, it does show how huge the actor categories this year are quite tough. I think there's been so many incredible performances. Mike Leigh will be devastated.
I think he will,
and not even nominated in the British film category. It shows what a strong year it's been for British films. And Mr. Turner, which I loved, has not got even into that category.
But then you look at the British film category and actually there's nothing you'd particularly take out.
No, it's very strong.
Replace it. So
it is tough. Dick Pope does get a nomination for cinematography, which is because it is a stunning piece of work. Matt, what are your initial reactions to the nominations?
I think what I love most about this entire kind of nomination spread is that when we first saw it, all of us went, ooh. Like, there's a lot of very interesting choices in there, and it is a real diversity, which is great. Talking about British films, it's a film that I did not think that I would love as much as I did. Paddington is in there.
I know.
And that's great. I think it's great it's getting some recognition, you know?
Such
a kind of feel-good film.
Very British.
Yeah,
I know.
Very British.
I'm furious that Paddington hasn't got a nomination in leading actor, actually. Ben Whishaw, fantastic there. Let's go into more depth then. Let's talk about the theory of everything. Eddie Redmayne, quite an incredible, extraordinary performance as Professor Stephen Hawking.
I saw that last night, and I shed a few manly tears. And he's just brilliant. He loses himself completely in that role, and you stop thinking of Eddie Redmayne, you just see Stephen Hawking. And I think that's such, you know, a testament to his performance. I think he's great. I
know people have sort of mentioned Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot when they're talking about his performance here. It's interesting to see him up against Benedict Cumberbatch as well. And I mean, if we're looking at Best Actor, if you turn your pages, we look at leading actor. I mean, that is quite a tough category, isn't it? Michael Keaton in Birdman, again, extraordinary.
I wonder for the BAFTAs whether there's going to be a slight British bias, whether it's going to be Cumberbatch versus Redmayne. But I do think Keaton is so good in Birdman because it touches on his career. You know, him being in Batman, all of that. I think it's a fascinating role for him. So I think he could be the outsider, but I still think it's probably Cumberbatch versus Redmayne. I think Redmayne maybe is the favourite. Just because he has to do so much in that film.
He absolutely is, because he is. You've sort of seen Benedict Cumberbatch do a similar character before, and you know, like in Sherlock, you see him being that sort of that genius who's a bit eccentric. Whereas Redmayne, you've never seen anything like that before, and like you say, you forget that you're watching him. Completely. And with The Imitation Game, always for me it was Benedict Cumberbatch playing Alan Turing.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I loved him. I think it was perfect in it, but I still think Eddie Redmayne's probably is the favourite.
I know, and both Jane Wilding and Stephen Hawking would say they were so moved and actually almost forgot that he was, you know,
and when you compare photos as well, you don't immediately think Eddie Redmayne, Stephen Hawking, but you compare them, and you almost can't tell the difference.
And Felicity Jones, obviously nominated for leading actress, and again, that's an interesting category. Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl. You loved Gone.
Gone Girl was my favourite film of the year. Yeah, I won't go on about it. I won't go on about it, but it has been snubbed for most of the other categories. So I'm thrilled for Rosamund Pike because she is superb in that film, and kind of complete game changer for her career. I think she, a leading lady, absolutely brilliant in it. I really hope she wins. I just think the film should have got more nominations, so I'm a bit angry about that.
Yes.
But I'm pleased it's got this
Finch's
one.
#1 stalker.
I am Finch's #1 stalker. You're right. Yeah, that's true.
Within that category, what's really interesting is Julianne Moore for Still Alice.
Yeah.
And we were saying actually, as a performance, maps to the stars.
Absolutely, it should have been maps to the stars.
It's kind of far more out there, I think, but still fully deserving for Still Alice.
Do you think that's quite a strong category for Julianne Moore?
I do, yeah. I just think it's the kind of film that that people like. It's a big role for her, and she has to do all kinds of things. It's just emotional, She's got that kind of emotional pull in it. So I think it could be between Julianne Moore and Rosamund Pike. I mean, I do hope Rosamund Pike wins it.
Let's talk about Boyhood as well.
Yeah.
Richard Linklater's, a labour of love, took him 12 years. Was originally going to be called 12 years until 12 Years a Slave came out and he had to change the name. And a beautiful idea and something never done before. And great to see that nominated in Best Film.
Unique, an absolutely unique piece of work, incredible concept. For me, brilliantly executed. I'm absolutely delighted that it's got so many nominations. In fact, it's got 5 nominations overall. I would have thought it got more in a way. I think it should be nominated in all kinds of other categories. And I think it could be the favourite, actually, to win Best Film. I mean, I think, there's a lot of kind of solid, good films in that list. All of them are great, but Birdman is unique, isn't it? Never been done before, so I think it might be the favourite, yeah.
It might be the favourite. What about director? Let's talk about directors, because, again, quite an incredible list there. You've got Iñárritu, Linklater, Anderson, James Marshall, Theory of Everything, and your favouite, Damien Chazelle, for Whiplash.
I think absolutely.
Again, strong category. That's tough.
We were talking about this earlier. We were thinking that because Damien Chazelle wasn't really expecting to win big for Whiplash, and the fact that he has been nominated a few times in this is just fantastic, and I think he really deserves to go the distance, because the film is nothing like I've ever seen before. Creating a character, the character that J.K. Simmons plays, he's in a film that isn't about goodies and baddies. He is one of the biggest villains I've ever seen, and for Chazelle to have created this, I think he absolutely deserves to win Best Director.
Okay.
Poor Morton Tilden, though, snubbed for The Imitation Game.
Yes, that
because
was
all the
interesting.
Furious.
Yeah, well, just that the 5 nominations for Best Film almost tally with the 5 nominations for Director, except for him.
Yeah.
So your Damien Chazelle for Whiplash, the ludicrously young Damien Chazelle, is nominated, which is a brilliant film, but I do feel sorry for Morton that's been snubbed for The Imitation Game. He did a really good job on that film.
I completely agree with Rhianna, though, because The Imitation Game does get 9 nods throughout the entire thing, and I think Whiplash, it is such a unique film, and it should be championed. So I think, and he is a talent that is going to be really big. He's going to be one of those directors who becomes a massive thing.
And I think supporting him at this early stage is so important.
Trash. Being nominated not in an English language, but obviously written by Richard Curtis, directed by Stephen Daldry, and in Portuguese. So it's lovely to see films like that get
It's an unusual situation, because
Yeah.
you think film not in the English language is really, you think it's foreign films is what you think of. This is a British film that is set in Brazil, so and as you in Portuguese say, it's an odd anomaly really that it's in there, but it's a really enjoyable film, so good for it. But in a way, it could have ended up in British film category. But it's such a strong year for British films. Can we mention Pride, by the way?
Yeah, we must mention Pride, because it's such a great, feel-good film.
Absolutely.
Great ensemble cast as well.
Great ensemble cast, but brilliantly written. I absolutely love that film. Spent most of the film in tears. So for it to get the recognition is great, I think.
It would be great to see Stephen Beresford win.
Absolutely.
For
Brilliant
that
script,
great script. I know.
I saw it at Cannes for the premiere, and it got standing ovation at the end. It was 10 minutes of people crying and clapping, and it feels genuine.
That's
do you know
what
what I mean?
I want to do at the end of the film. Cry and clap. I was going to say, this category particularly, there are films that I haven't seen before. 71 especially stood out for me. Jack O'Connor's performance, although he didn't say a huge amount, I was so impressed by him. But also Under the Skin. Now that's not my favourite film in that category by far. It's probably my least favourite. But in terms, in terms of a film that is so unusual and so different, and one that hasn't been done before, and it was so experimental, and Scarlett Johansson picking up men in Glasgow and them not even realising it was her. I loved all of that, and I think for that reason that should definitely be up there.
It's the most
it was quite sublime.
It was. I love Under the Skin. It is the most incredible spread of films in British film categories. You've got Paddington versus Under the Skin. You could get 2 more different films in existence compared competing for the same prize.
I think we should set people a test that they see all of these films in the space.
And
Yeah, I mean, if you had to choose their outstanding British film, where would you go, boy?
Well, I love Pride, I love Paddington, I love Under the Skin. It's one of those three. I mean, I love 71 as well. It's really difficult. I think I may, in the end, have gone for Pride. I just think there's something incredibly warm and wonderful about that story being told so well. But, you know, I'm not bothered. Any of them, they're all great. It's one of the strongest years of British film for a long time.
And Jack O'Connell, obviously nominated for E! Rising Star. He is incredible performances from him, also in Unbroken, which hasn't had
no love
nods.
from
No love for Unbroken.
No.
And also Selma.
Oh yes.
Not mentioned. I'm quite surprised that David Oyelowo didn't get a nomination.
Do you know what I think? The thing with Selma, when they send screeners out, DVD screens of all these films, it hasn't come out yet here. They sent it out very late. I mean, I think it's fantastic, but maybe people just didn't get around to watching it. I don't know. It's weird. It hasn't got any nominations at all. It's a brilliant film.
Let's go to the supporting actress and actor categories, because again, quite an interesting situation. You've got Steve Carell and Mark Ruffalo both nominated for Foxcatcher, and Edward Norton, incredible in Birdman, Ethan Hawke for Boyhood, and then J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. Again, an interesting category that's going to be in America for the Oscars. Aren't they putting Steve Carell
will be
for leading actor?
He will be. Yeah. Interesting, BAFTA. You can choose. The voters choose themselves what category they put them in, which I think is interesting. It's such an ensemble film, Foxcatcher, with those three main actors. I think it's great that both have been nominated, Steve Carell and Mark Ruffalo. But I wonder if J.K. Simmons is the favourite in that category. It's such a, as you said, it's like one of the great villains, evil people, this abusive, nasty monster.
And you're not expecting it. It comes so out of the blue.
And also his career's been, he's kind of a character actor, loads of supporting roles.
Juno.
Juno.
Right. But so this is a huge star-making turn for him, so I wonder if he is the favourite in that category.
But then Edward Norton as well, I mean,
he's brilliant
that's who you come away from Birdman talking about.
In Birdman, is that Edward Norton? I imagine that he's actually quite like that.
I hope so.
That's how I want him to be like.
It's so good. It's so kind of saying so many things about so many different things. It's kind of meta, and it's Edward Norton's performance is just.
And he spends most of the film in his pants as well.
Always
I know. It's an interesting little belly. Supporting actress Emma Stone, again, brilliant in Birdman. That scene with her and Michael Keaton, the father to daughter scene, is that's quite something. That'll stay with me for a long time. Having a 14-year-old son as well. And great, we see Imelda Staunton nominated for Pride, and then Keira Knightley.
Yes, Keira Knightley I think does actually deserve it, because I think she genuinely has improved so much over the years, if that doesn't sound too patronising. And I think her early performances I wouldn't have said that I was a particular fan of. I might have even once called her wooden, but now I really enjoyed her performances. I thought she was excellent in The Imitation Game. She was perfect for that character.
I'm really pleased for Renee Russo.
Yes,
I think she has done that much stuff in recent years, you know. Great in Nightcrawler, and also Jake Gyllenhaal nominated as well for Best Actor. I think Nightcrawler is, I really enjoyed Nightcrawler. It's a kind of interesting, almost a genre film, but incredible acting showcase for those two. They're brilliant. There's one scene where the two of them together in a bar, which is one of the best scenes of the year, I think.
Okay.
I'm quite surprised by the recognition for it, though, because it is so dark and so twisted, and it's brilliant. But both of their performances, as you say, Renee Russo, just brilliant to see it back on the screen, really.
I think it's encouraging to know that people are quite into dark, twisted films, which is just as well, because there aren't so many. When we go, if we look at cinematography, again, you're furious, Boyd, because there's no mention for Roger Deakins.
Roger Deakins, who I think is a master of cinematography, and has done brilliant films in recent years. He did Skyfall, the James Bond, for the most beautiful-looking James Bond film ever. Should have won for that. Should have won last year as well, and has been nominated. He did Unbroken, which has got no love at all from BAFTA. So maybe it's just people just didn't like the film, but he did a brilliant job. Having said that, I think it's all about Birdman and Emmanuel Lubezki, because this is the film that looks like it's shot in one take. I mean, it actually wasn't, but what an incredible technical thing to pull that off. It's complicated film, the whole thing to flow in one go.
And also in such a strange environment, because it is shot in a theatre and they're very small spaces, and they're going from huge action and drama and emotions into sort of comedy, into and
following Michael Keaton all the way out of the theatre in the film, all the way around Times Square.
With a huge crowd scene.
We do love a guy in his pantsuit.
Yeah, so he's going to win that, no doubt, hands down.
Okay.
Did you find you spent the first kind of 10 minutes just waiting, trying to spot the cut?
Yes.
You just give
Absolutely. But also Dick Pope for Mr. Turner, I know we mentioned earlier, but you do just watch Mr. Turner and you see his paintings in the film, which I think is such an achievement, and it's so stunning and very seamless. And I kind of am almost hoping that will win.
Dick Pope wins. We must mention Lindsay Duncan as well.
Oh, yeah.
Her performance.
Vitriolic.
She's not nominated for everyone. Lindsay will be like, have I been nominated? But she is fantastic in Birdman.
Yeah, she plays a critic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And
you
not
as
taking this
critics.
personally.
No, what did you think of her?
Some critics have been annoyed because she's so horrible and nasty. But I think it's fine. A lot of critics are horrible and nasty. Let's be fair. And she is. That's the scenes she's in are electrifying. She's fantastic in it. Yeah.
Okay, for you, Boyd, best film.
I'm
this year
going to
out
go
of the 5.
I'm going to go for Boyhood. I think
Okay.
it's absolute masterpiece, unique, nothing ever like it, and deserves to win.
Okay, Rhianna.
Birdman, for me,
Yeah.
that was the one that really stood out and was fascinating and so entertaining, which is what cinema is all about.
Okay, and Matt.
Same, Birdman. I just
Right.
came out reeling. I thought it was great.
Okay, I'm a loud favourite. So
Yes,
I
you
love
are.
them all. They're
Come
my
on.
children.
What do you want to win? Come on.
Birdman, I would say, for best film.
Okay.
But then I did love Theory of Everything as well. Oh, so many things. Now, if you would like to follow all the action in the build-up to the awards night, you can simply follow this. Look, here we go. I made this up for you this morning. It's hashtag EEBAFTAs. We're also on BAFTA Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We have feeds. And of course, there's the website, www.bafta.org. You can join me live from the red carpet on February the 8th. I'll be interviewing all the stars and directors as they arrive at the awards. And also, there'll be a chance for you to ask them your questions. Follow the Twitter feed for more details. So now all it is time to say thank you very much to Rhianna and to Matt and Boyd, and we'll see who triumphs on February the 8th. Should we go for breakfast?
Yeah, let's
Just go straight to the pub. Thank you very much for watching. Good morning.